Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Samast Jan Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayani Amba Tvamanusandadami Bhagavad-gite Bhavatveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyai Stavai Vedai Sangha Kramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Navidut Sura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. There we go. Last week, Bhagavan Shri Krishna had told us in shloka number 11, 12, and 13. In 11, he said, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham. However people approach me, that is how I bless them. So if you wish to see Bhagwan as Sri Ram, Lord Shiva as Jesus, that's how he will manifest. And whatever you need from God, whatever you want, he will provide. If you want wealth, he will give wealth. If you want pleasure, he'll give pleasure. If you want him, say, I'll give you myself. And if you want moksha, he says, go listen. Shravana, go listen to my Bhagavad Gita. That is the surest way to get moksha. Without knowledge, moksha is not possible. We'll talk more about moksha today also. In the 12th shloka, Bhagavan said that people look for results in karma. And in karma, it is easy. I go to work 8 hours, I get paid. I take tennis lessons, I can play tennis. Music, I study, I can play music. But when I go for knowledge, listen to Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and so on, 1 year, 2 years doesn't show. There is nothing visible I can see. But Bhagavan says that is the nitya, that is the permanent. All other things, all other worldly knowledges are temporary. Anitya, they will give you benefit for a while. But if you want the highest knowledge, it's only through jnanam. And in the 13th shloka, Bhagavan said, Chatur Varnya Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. I am the creator of the four castes. Four castes are not only by birth, they are not by birth. Guna Karma Vibhagasha. They are based on gunas and karmas, what actions you do and your qualities. Not based on birth. That was a misunderstanding of the caste system. And these four groups are there everywhere in the world. There are the thinkers, there are the leaders, the thinkers who are Brahmanas, research scientists, professors, the leaders, the politicians, the president, prime minister, they are all the Kshatriyas, the business people, the farmers, they are the Vaishyas, and then the others are the workers, people who work in industry or people who work in the farms or in the companies, those who go out and sell the product. So all four are there everywhere in the world. And Bhagavad Gita qualifies, and in the 18th chapter will give us the qualities of the four castes. What exactly are the qualities? But as we said, they are universal. Then the second part of that is Tasya kartaram api mam vidhi akartaram avyayam. Last week we did not have time to do the second line of the 13th shloka. So he says, I am the author, I am the creator of the four castes, but I am non-doer. So he says, Bhagwan, how can you say you are the author and yet you are the non-doer? That we did not have time to cover last time of the 13th shloka. So the best example is the sun. The sun is the closest example to Brahman, which is the supreme reality. So what does the sun do? The sun rises in the morning, and as it rises, the birds start chirping, the people get out of bed, start getting ready for their work or school, the plants grow, the whole earth, gets life. So sun says, I don't do anything. Sun is just present. He says, in my presence, everything happens. The sun doesn't pull the people out of bed or gets the birds out of the nest. The sun just shines and everything happens. That's why in the Vakya Vritti he says, Yasya sannidhi matrena soham iti upadharaya. Same way Bhagwan says, I am not the doer. I just provide the energy like the sun. I provide the life, the consciousness. Of course, he provides energy to the sun also. But in the plants, animals, birds, fish, humans, I am the one that is the source of all the energy. And in my presence, everything happens. Whatever is happening in the world, I am not the doer, but in my presence, it happens. Yasya sannidhi matrena soham iti upadharaya. Sannidhi matrena means just by his presence, this whole world functions, the planets move, the comets move. And that consciousness is me. It is within me as that supreme energy, which we call as Om in the BMI chart. So it is that consciousness that illuminates, and that is everywhere. So that Bhagwan is not separate from me. Bhagwan and I are one because everything is that Bhagwan. So that is what we just to summarize the 13th shloka. Now we'll chant number 14, chapter 4, number 14, where Bhagwan now continues to tell what he does in this world. So far he has said why he appears. Now he talked about the four castes. Now what else does he do? Namam karmani limpanti. Name karma phale spriha. Iti mam yo bhijanati. Karma bhirna sabhadyate. Together. Namam karmani limpanti. Name karma phale spriha. iti mam yobhijanati karmabhirna sabhadyate. So, na mam karmani limpanti. Na mam means not to me. Karmani, actions limpanti. Actions do not taint me, do not contaminate me. Means I am free from all contamination or taint. That's why one of Bhagwan's name is Niranjan, with that which is not contaminated by anything in this world. So namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha. And also Bhagwan says, when I work, I do not have any desire, spriha, for the result, karma phale. Bhagwan does not do any actions for what am I going to get, because Bhagwan is all perfect. So that is karma yoga also, that when we do actions, we should not have spriha, we should not have desire. What am I going to get out of it? And we'll talk a lot about karma yoga again today. Iti mam yaha abhijanati. In this way, iti mam yaha abhijanati. Abhijanati means who knows me in the true way, in the true way to know me. Karma bhihi nasa badhyate. He is not bound by action. So Bhagavan says, I no actions taint me. I have no desire for results because he is complete. And one who knows this, he also is not bound by karmas. So they say, Bhagavan, by knowing it, how will I get free from that? So let us see. So as we said, the self, the consciousness within as Om, or the all-pervading consciousness, illumines everything and is not affected. And as we said, Bhagavan does not need anything. He is not doing anything. And we'll see that when he appears as Sri Krishna or Sri Rama, how does Bhagavan function? So he says, I do not do anything. And in my presence, everything happens. And I do not get affected by what is happening. Because in the world, there may be some joy, some sorrow, some success, some failure. But that is happening because of the karmas of the individual. I am the karma phaladata. I do not get affected. But when we function at the ego level, then we say, oh, I did so much. Nobody recognized me. And, I work hard and I am the only one who is doing it. Then what we are doing, we are looking for praise or we are looking for some recognition. So then again, you are bound by the results. I did work so hard and nobody appreciated, nobody said even thank you. I am not going to do it from tomorrow. So one should do whatever comes to oneself without expectation of any result, of any fruit. What am I going to get? If I say, what am I going to get? Then ego. And also let us not get affected by the karmas. Good and bad things will happen throughout the world. I do my duty, and if things happen good, fine. If doesn't happen, Bhagwan, it was not meant for me at this time. And with that attitude, when we work, then we are not affected. So that is what we have to learn from this. And Gurudev gives another example of the sun in his commentary, where he says the sun in the sky is shining on a bucket of water. Now, if the bucket of water is dirty with mud, the shadow of the sun looks dirty. You cannot see it clearly. If the water is agitated, then that shadow of the sun, which is in the bucket, gets agitated. But the sun says, I only illumine. I am not affected by whether the water is dirty or whether the water is disturbed. Dirty water means tamas. Agitated water means rajas. So I, the consciousness, if I identify myself with that consciousness, then the tamasic situations will come, rajasic comes, but I keep my mind pure in sattva. And that's what Gurudev says, when that reflection in the water realizes that I am that same sun, then whether the water is dirty or whether the water is shaking, it's not disturbed. So same way, you and I are a reflection of that Bhagwan, that supreme consciousness, and let us work in the world. Tamas will happen, rajas will happen, but I keep my mind pure and keep as much as possible in sattva. And we see Bhagavan Sri Krishna, when he appeared on earth, how did he work? Constantly he was working, constantly. From the day he was born, he was having problems, one after the other. He lost his parents, and then the demons attacked him. And when he was a baby, Putana tried to kill. All those things happened, but Bhagwan is always smiling, even when he had to leave the gopis and leave his parents. Ultimately, the kingdom of Mathura, he could have got.
Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Please come. Please come.
Yeah, I don't think.
Welcome.
So they are newer to Baker Street.
No problem. Please sit.
And
welcome. Have a
thank
seat.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we were talking about how Bhagwan Sri Krishna worked in the world, how we should work also. He did whatever came to him. Good and bad situations happened. He remained unaffected and did his duty, whatever it was required. As a child, what was his duty? As a friend, what was his duty? As a brother, as a king. Even when he defeated Kamsa, he could have taken the kingdom of Mathura, but he said, no, I'm not going to do it. He gave it to Kamsa's father. So, and throughout he works, people think, oh, if I become spiritual, then I'll become lazy. I won't work. Kya jarurat hai kaam karne ki? I just stay with my mind in God. Yes, you keep your mind in God, but keep on doing whatever duties you have been assigned. And that's what Bhagwan did. And even till on the eve of the battle between the Pandavas and the Kauravas on the last day, he still goes to Duryodhana and says, if you are ready to have peace, be honest with the Pandavas, give them their kingdom, we will not have a war. So throughout his life, he was an example of how we should live. And that is what. So when he says knowing Bhagwan, one is knowing him as Sri Krishna or Sri Rama or Lord Shiva, as Mother Saraswati, as the creator, sustainer, destroyer of this universe, as Ishvara. But the true knowing is knowing him as I. The consciousness within, the life principle within, what is God's presence, that is who I really am. God is, of course, everywhere, but God is within me. So in this BMI chart, for those who are new, so body, mind, and intellect, that is me. I have a body with which I perceive the objects of the world. With the mind, I feel the emotions. And with the intellect, I think all the thoughts. And we are vasanas, my desires, which keep me away from God. And who is God? God is represented as Om. Om is God's presence within us. So this is all we are, God plus all this. So this is BMI is I. I become a perceiver, feeler, and thinker, and objects, emotions, thoughts of the world. So God is present in me as Om, as consciousness. So God is everywhere. Everything is God, and God is within me. So that is knowing that I am thinking I am this body, mind, intellect. That is my equipment. Really, I am that divinity. All of us are divine. All of us have God within us. So one should constantly remember that. And once he knows that, then his actions become pure. See, then just as God says, I do not get bound by actions. I do not get contaminated by what is happening. So same way you and I, when we work in the world, we work with that idea that I should do my best and without worrying about the result, do what is best, and ultimately the result Bhagwan will take care of. Then I am not bound. Then I do not say, oh, I did this and nothing happened. I did that, nobody praised me. Then the results come from Bhagwan. But in the world, I still have to do my duties. My duties I have to do. You cannot all the time sit in meditation or sit in the forest or sit in the puja room. I have to go out and work. in the office, say I am a manager, I have to do my duty. So there is somebody who is not working very well. I have to scold that person. I have to shout at him and try to correct, because I have to take care of the company. Whatever is good for the company, I have to do. And in some situation, maybe I may have to lay off an employee who is not working, who is not showing up on time, who is an interruption in the company's work. So I'll do that, but without I and my, without raga dvesha. Oh, I like this person, so I'll keep him. I don't like this person belongs to my state, so I will promote him. And this person is not from my community, I will no, not like that. I'll do what is good for the company and do wherever I have been appointed. And same thing we see in Bhagwan Sri Ram's example also. It's a very beautiful example. When he was 16, up to the age of 16, he went to Vashisht Muniji and he learned and he realized the truth. Of course, he was Bhagwan, but to show us that the importance of Guru, so he goes to Vashisht Muniji and learns. And he is now complete in his knowledge by age 16. And then Vishwamitra ji asks him and Lakshman ji to come, and because Tadaka was the evil demoness, she was not letting them do the puja, throwing dirt in the havan, kundas and beating everybody. So he goes there and his first job is to get rid of Tadaka because she's a demoness. She's not going to listen. Now, Kshatriya is not supposed to fight against women, right? But when the woman is evil and when she is so powerful, he doesn't have any choice. So the first person he kills is a woman demoness. But he said that is the only way to take care of this. Otherwise, all the rishis are suffering, all the goodness is suffering, and she is creating evil. And she was so powerful and she was not ready to listen. So whatever his duty he does without being affected. And same thing with Ravana in the war. Even at the last minute, he tells him, after so much has happened, he says, okay, tomorrow we are going to fight. Even today, if you give me Sita ji back, I'll take my whole army and go. But Ravana doesn't listen. So he keeps the path of dharma throughout his life. Bhagwan Sri Ram, Bhagwan Sri Krishna, talking about Ravana. So this man goes to his guru and he says, Guruji, I have a question. He says, what? He says, why do people name their son Ram? Why don't they name their son Ravana? So Guruji says, well, why don't you name your son Ravana? He says, I don't need to. Without naming also, he does everything that Ravana did. I don't, kiye bina bhi he is Ravana itself. So that is what Bhagwan says, that do actions just as I did. Now we'll go to shloka number 15. And he will continue about how to work and little more about what is karma yoga. We'll talk in the 15th. Chapter 4, shloka number 15. Usme nahi hai ji, it will be in the book. Okay. Or if you have a cell phone, it is there in the cell phone. That's okay. That is just the opening prayers and you can borrow from. ये ले लो आप नहीं ये लोग share कर लेंगे ये लोग. So chapter 4 number 15. Evam nyatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhihi Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam Purvaihi purvataram kritam. All together. Evam jnatva kritam karma Purvairapi mumukshubhihi Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam Purvaihi purvataram kritam. So, evam jnatva. So, having understood this, what Bhagwan says, do actions as I work in the world. And if you do that, then the actions will not bind you. So, he said, evam jnatva, having understood what I said in the 14th shloka, kritam karma. So, actions were done by who? not only by me, but mumukshubihi, those who are seekers of liberation, purvaihi, in the past, those who were seekers of liberation, wise people, they also did actions in this way. So here, look at Bhagwan's humility. He does not say this knowledge came from me. He says it is come down from the great thinkers of the past. And I am just reproducing this knowledge. All these great masters, they never claim credit. They say, whatever is good in my teaching, it is my guru. If there are any defects, it is my defects. So same way, Bhagwan says, I am not the author. He says this knowledge has come down from time immemorial. That's why our dharma is called Sanatan Dharma. That means beyond time. So I am just passing on this knowledge. So I'm telling you, O Arjuna, that this knowledge has been utilized by many people, mumukshubihi, seekers of liberation. We'll talk about what is mumuksha. And Bhagavan says, Kuru karma eva tasmatvam. So you kuru karma, you do the actions. That alone you should do tasmatvam. So do actions with the attitude of karma yoga. And who has done that? Purvaihi, the great rishis, purvataram kritam. All the great masters in the past who have done this. So the idea is that in our religion, there is no one prophet or one, great person. It is a knowledge which has come down from Guru Shishya Parampara. So what is moksha? So there are 4 paths: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. In number 15, you can see. So these are the 4 purusharthas, the 4 goals of human birth. They are these 4. So dharma means right action. Artha means wealth, actions for wealth. Kama is actions for desire, for sense pleasures. And moksha is for liberation, which is the highest goal. So they say artha and kama, wealth and desire, sense pleasures, should be under the influence of dharma. That means with dharmic way, I should accumulate wealth and I should enjoy sense pleasures. And moksha is my ultimate goal. That we all know, but a few more aspects. Anji.
Dharma, artha, karma, and moksha. This is the way they come in
Yes.
human life?
No, yeah, actually, artha and kama, yes, that's how they come. With dharma, I should do artha and kama. That's why dharma is given the first preference.
Yeah, dharma.
Artha means accumulation of wealth, and kama means sense pleasure. So these two are generally, we think that is our goal. I should enjoy life and I should earn a living, wealth. But they should be done with dharma. That's why dharma is mentioned first. And moksha is my goal of birth, human birth. The purpose of human birth is enlightenment, to become one with God. And that should be the goal of every human being. That in this life, I should become one with God. Or even if I don't reach, I should progress towards God. And that is the ultimate goal. Everything else is secondary to moksha. Artha, kama, dharma, everything is secondary to this goal of moksha. Now, if artha and kama are done with dharma, they will help me in moksha. So if I earn honestly, if I enjoy honestly, and bring dharma in my life, then moksha will be helped. And the 4th very important thing for moksha is knowledge. So listening to Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, so without knowledge, mukti nahi hogi, mukti. That's why Bhagwan in the Bhagavad Gita again and again he says, Nahi jnane na sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. The greatest purifier is knowledge. Bhakti is good, karma yoga is good, all these yogasanas are good, but ultimately knowledge is the most superior and that will take us to the highest. So now how should one do dharma? So we say, well, dharma is dharma. What do you mean how one should do right action? See, people do dharma for 2 reasons. One is, I do dharma so that I get heaven. People say, अच्छे काम करोगे तो स्वर्ग जाओगे. So I do good actions so I'll go to heaven. And in the olden days, there were rituals people used to do, which was to guarantee that if you do this ritual, you will get heaven. So people used to do elaborate rituals, invite these pandits to do rituals. But that was with a desire that if I do dharma in this life will be good and my other life will also be good. So dharma is done with a particular desire. You are doing good deeds, but with the idea I'll go to heaven. But the second way of doing dharma is I do what is good, I do my duty, I help others, but without expecting anything, even without expecting any praise. I'm doing what is good because it is my duty without I, me, and my. And that is this, karma karo, karma ki phal ka, ichha mat rakho. So I'm not expecting anything. I'm just doing it because it is good for me and is good for society. And I am a humble servant of Lord. So when you do good actions with that attitude, then all your dharma, artha, kama will all purify your mind. Your mind will become purified because they are doing all good actions with the right attitude, without even any desire. And then in that pure mind, knowledge comes, and that knowledge will take you towards moksha. So dharma, when it is done with a desire, will bring you heaven. When it is done without desire, will purify your mind and go towards moksha. Now, artha also can be for two reasons. So I'm earning money. Why are you earning money? To enjoy life, to be comfortable. And, so I get to have a nice house, I have a nice car, I have all the pleasures I want. I can go to Switzerland, I can go to Bahamas. So that is good, that is nothing wrong with that. But there you are earning money for I, me, and my, or maybe my family, so I may have a big, 401k, which now has become 101k, but but anyway, may I have, a big estate, and then I hand over to my children, grandchildren. That is dharma with the desire. But more important is, that is artha with a desire, with kama, with sense pleasure. But artha, when it is done for dharma, that by earning money, may I give back to society. We have beautiful example of, Krishna also doing a donation to the mission, to his school. So people who earn, but keep what they need, but then what is help, what they can, they give others. They give back to society without expecting anything. So that is artha for dharma. Artha can be for kama, for my sense pleasures, or artha can be for dharma, where with the wealth, I do good for others. I share, work unselfishly. So work that is done selfishly will bind you, because then you will be bound in that same action. But if it is done with the idea of serving, that is what money has been given to me by God, and may I use it to help to serve the world, then that same money becomes purified, that same action becomes pure, and that takes you towards moksha. Now, what is moksha? Moksha is not to get anything else. It's not that if I become a great Mahatma, then people will come and bow down to me and give me money and I'll have a big ashram. No, that is not. True Mahatma is one who reaches that goal and then doesn't care. It does not mean that he doesn't serve. In fact, he works more than you and me. See, these Mahatmas, these great Swamis of, like in our Chinmaya mission, we have Swami Aparajita Nandaji, who will be coming April 21 to 24. I'll talk about him at the end. But these Mahatmas work so hard, but for what? For Loka Sangraha. They work for the benefit of society. You and I, we work either for our family, or if we are giving others, then we do for purification of mind. Chitta Shuddhi, what they call. But one who has reached enlightenment, who has reached moksha, then he works for Loka Sangraha, for the benefit of all. And Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayanandaji was our example from 1950 to 1993 till his last breath. 43 years he traveled throughout the world and taught us and gave us all the books and the materials and the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. We are using his translation, his commentaries, we are all using. And then after he dropped his body, he had already set up an institute of teaching, the Sandipani in Mumbai, where so many Mahatmas have come out, hundreds of them, and they are all over the world serving. So these Mahatmas, they do not work for themselves and they do not need purity of mind because they are already enlightened. They work for benefit of all of us. So that's what the realized masters do. Now we'll talk about karma and karma yoga. Karma is actions. Karma yoga is actions done. Yoga means you are united with God. So connecting with God, I do actions for the benefit of society without I, me, and my, without expecting anything. And with that, my mind gets purified. So what is the difference between karma and karma yoga? As we said, karma is I do actions for myself, my family. So what that does, with that ego, it becomes like a prison, me, and me. So everything whatever I do is for me around. So I'm creating a prison where I'm only taking care of myself. I'm not worried about the society. What should I give? Let leaders take care. Let everybody take care. Who am I here? Somebody said, if we are here to serve the world, if we are here to serve others, what are others doing? I should not worry. My idea should be to serve. And when I start looking outside, then I get out of this prison of this ego, I, me, and my. And then I see the whole world as me. Everybody is me. So whoever I am serving Bhagwan. Or for a bhakta, for a jnani, I'm serving myself. He sees himself or herself in all. So slowly you get out of that. That's why they say, na Vasudeva Sarvamiti, sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. It is very rare to find a person who sees this whole world as Vasudeva, who sees the whole world as God. So two paths. One will take us upward towards God, other one will take us downward towards selfishness. So our choices. So the example they give is a fast track. How many of you have driven fast track in the Bay Area? Everybody has. So what happens? There are two lanes. There is one lane, fast track lane, and 3-4 other lanes. And when there is a lot of traffic, the 3-4 lanes are jammed, but the fast track lane is open. And because the person has prepaid on his card, so zoom, he goes through the fast track, he gets out. So this is the example of people who are in the ego. People who have ego, who have I, me, and my, we get stuck in our traffic. We are like the big trucks, huge trucks driving slowly and stuck in the traffic. So persons who are egocentric, they get stuck in the world. But a person who has done karma yoga, who has served the world, he has prepaid like that fast track, and he can go through life easily towards moksha. So you and I, if we want to progress in life, we have to work for the benefit of others without I, me, and my, and that is the fast track way towards moksha. So here, the whole goal of life we have tried to cover in this particular shloka. So he tells Arjuna, you also work like mumukshus, the people who are desirous of liberation. Now Bhagwan is bringing a new topic from 16 onward, which will go for 4 or 5 slokas, which is a very important topic and a little difficult to understand. But today we'll do the introduction, then there won't be any class next week, but in 2 weeks, this topic will be continued. So number 16. Kim karma kima karmeti.
Kim karma kima karmeti.
Kavayopyatra mohitaha. Tatte karma pravakshyami. Yajñatva mokshase shubhat. Together. Kim karma kima karmeti. Kavayopyatra mohitaha. Tatte karma pravakyami. Yajñatva mokshase shubhat. So kim karma? What is karma? And kim akarma. What is karma? What is akarma? Iti kavayaha. Kavayaha means kavis. So kavis, modern state days, we understand kavi as poet. You know, उसने बड़ी अच्छी कविता लिखी. So he is a kavi. But in our scriptures, kavi means tattvadarshi, who have seen the truth. Wise sages, wise mahatmas are called kavis. And that later on became poet, but the true meaning of kavi is one who has seen the reality, who has the knowledge, who may not be enlightened master, but who has progressed a lot on the spiritual path. An enlightened master would not get deluded, but kavi here is used as one who is very advanced in his spiritual learning. So kavayaha is plural. Kavayaha api atra mohitaha. Even kavis, even people who are evolved in this spiritual path get confused. Difference between karma and akarma. What is action and what is inaction, not working, both. Tat te karma. So that karma, tat te, that to you, pravakshyami. Vakshyami means I shall speak. Pravakshyami means I will clearly explain to you. Prakarshena vakshyami. I will tell you clearly the difference between karma and akarma. And then in the next shloka in 17, Bhagwan will also say vikarma. So karma is action. Akarma is inaction, not working, and vikarma is wrong action. But vikarma we won't address in this shloka, but will be addressed in the 17th shloka. So kim karma, kim akarma iti te pravakshyami. I will tell you, and yat jnatva, knowing which, moksha se ashubhat, you will be freed from. Ashubha means, shubha means auspicious, ashubha means inauspiciousness. So knowing this knowledge of what is karma and akarma, you will be freed from ashubha, wrong actions. So here he is telling us karma and akarma, and next shloka he will talk about vikarma. So we won't address vikarma right now. But we understand, what is to be deluded? Karma and akarma is very simple. If I'm sitting down, akarma, I am not doing anything. If I'm running around, I am doing karma. So isme kya mohitaha? What is this reason to get deluded in this? It is very clear. Action and inaction, I understand the difference. But Gurudev in his commentary said that action depends on motive. Inaction is not working. That is one meaning of inaction, that I do not do anything. So people who are lazy, people who just sit around and let society take care of them, are inaction. Another meaning which is not covered in this shloka, inaction, is that I am a humble instrument. God is working through me. I am not doing anything. That is another meaning of inaction. Again, that is not covered in this shloka, but I'm just bringing up what next few shlokas will talk about, that I work, but I say I do nothing. Bhagwan is doing everything through me. But here, action and inaction means what? To do something or to be lazy. So that is the meaning of action and inaction, karma and akarma. But Gurudev says more important is the motive. Why am I doing a particular action? And the motive will decide whether action is pure or not. So to give a simple example, someone takes a knife, cuts open somebody's stomach, and he dies. He bleeds to death. You say, well, that's a horrible action, right? So a murderer comes and he wants to steal your money. You don't give, so he takes a knife, cuts you, and you die. But a surgeon doing the same action, he's cutting open your stomach because you have come from a car accident and there is a lot of bleeding inside. You have multiple injuries, and he's trying to save your life. So he cuts open your stomach and tries to stop the bleeding, but you have lost so much blood before you came to the operating room that you died. Now, the same action, a person has cut somebody's stomach and he dies. One is a pure because he's trying to save a life. Other one is impure because he's a criminal trying to steal or trying to take revenge. So Gurudev says it is the motive that decides. So it's like a fruit. Outwardly, the mango looks beautiful, Alfonso, and you cut it open and there is kida, there is some black spots and it is defective. You say, oh, the mango outwardly looked good, but inside looks, it's bad. So same way, action outwardly may look good, but more important is the motive. Why am I doing the action? Am I doing this action to cheat somebody? And I'm acting like I am very good. There are some people who outwardly are very good, but that motive is corrupt. That by how can I fool this person and how can I cheat this person? So the same action, it is more important is the motive. And that's what it says, that's bandhana. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Bhagavan says, I said earlier in the 3rd chapter, that an action which is done for yajna spirit, for serving others, for helping others, that will free you. But if the action is not done with the idea of service, then such action becomes bondage. Does not mean that I should not earn for my family. And of course, I have to take care of my family and my security and my old age retirement. But whatever extra I have, I should share and try to make this world a better place. And that is how you get free from Ashubha, from the wrong action. So when I do action just for me, myself, it becomes selfish and can lead me to bondage. That is Ashubha. But when I do the actions for the benefit of society, then such actions free me from the bondage. And how to distinguish between action and inaction, and what is really action, what is really inaction. I have a beautiful story. I told that a few years ago. I don't think any of you were there, so I can tell it again. So there was this farmer who was going to work, and it was a very hot day. It was 100 degrees and it was going to be very hot day. And he has to work 8 hours in the field, behind his bullocks. And it was the olden time when they didn't have tractors and all. And so he's going to the field and, carrying all his things. And he's so hot, he's already sweating and he's tired. He said, "We 8 ghante aur mujhe kaam karna, I have to work 8 hours. Well, how will I go?" Anyway, he goes. And on the way, he sees a man sitting by a pond, little water pond. And there was he was wearing very nice clothes, very beautiful. And he was throwing pebbles in the water. He will throw a pebble and watch it. And then again, he will throw a pebble, he will watch it. So the farmer looks at him, waits a while. And this guy is not doing anything. He's just throwing pebble and watching. What kind of a guy is this? Look, world is so unfair. I have to go and work so hard. And this guy has nice clothes. He probably is well-to-do and not doing any work, sitting and throwing pebble in the water. Kya kaam kar raha hai? What is this guy doing? Anyway, he goes, works 8 hours. He comes back. He's exhausted, completely tired. And he's walking back and the man is still throwing pebbles and eating a sandwich. He had brought a sandwich. He says, whole day, this guy has just thrown pebble in the water and eaten sandwich. Totally lazy bum. How unfair is this, Bhagwan? How unfair is this world that I have to work so hard? And he complains and he goes home, he cries. Now, you say, okay, this person worked hard for 8 hours and this person did nothing, right? That's how we judge. But that person sitting there was Claude Monet, one of the most famous painters of history, one of the best painters ever. And when he was throwing pebble, he was watching the ripples in the water, and his painting, Ripples in the Water, is so famous. It is there in the best museum, even a few hundred years after he has passed away. Thousands of people have watched that painting. If you Google ripples in the water, there are so many methods of painting ripples in the water. So many people have copied and learned and benefited and seen the beauty of his painting. You can see exactly the light and shade and the now whose work, who did work, whose work is long. He did 8 hours, is gone, but this person 200 years after he passed his. So where is action and where is inaction? See, so we have to see that what is the motive, why this person is doing, and what is the result. Otherwise, we misjudge this guy. He's sitting there like that farmer, Mehta, he's not doing anything. But he has done work that for 200, 300 years, people have been benefited by that. So that's why he says, Kavya api yatra mohita. Even wise people cannot sometimes tell what is action and what is inaction. So it is only when you understand the motive, then you understand. But the most important is the actionless self, the God, the Bhagwan, Om that is within us. It is because of God's presence that we are all able to work. So constant gratitude to God who is within me. Because of God's presence, I'm able to talk. Because of God's presence, all of you are able to listen. Because of God's presence, I'm able to walk, move around, do everything with my hands, feet. So all actions are happening because of that actionless self. Bhagwan within us does not do anything as Om, but it is in the presence of Bhagwan. That what? So that's why it says, Yasya Sannidhi Matrena Soham Iti Upadaraya. Because of the presence of Bhagwan, all this is happening. So when we do karma yoga, when we do actions for the benefit of society, as we talked about in the last shloka, two paths, then I get the benefit. But that should not be put on a sticker. People on the sticker will write all beautiful things. You should do this, you should do that. He said, Arjuna, you should not put a sticker on your ratha that you should do karma yoga. It is not for putting a sticker, it is for doing it. Nowadays, people don't do sticker, but they send WhatsApp messages. Oh, they will send all these beautiful sayings from Mahatmas or teachers, or they will send you speeches and all here. Acha hai, bhej rahe ho, acha hai, but are you practicing it? So the idea is not to become sent to people. Idea is that whatever I am sharing, yeah, no harm in sharing good things. I'm not saying one should not share, but am I doing this? That's what we have to see. So again, this knowledge is not meant just to give talks or give lectures or to educate others. It is to educate myself. So that is the purpose of this knowledge, that through this knowledge, I am sharing what is good. And then I first have to practice it myself. That's what they say, practice what you preach. So that's why Bhagavan says that this knowledge, Arjuna, yat nyatva. Nyatva means having understood. Understood is one, but then practiced it. So that is the second part, that whatever you have heard, that's why they tell us three things on the spiritual path: Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. We have talked about it, but just briefly. Shravana means listening to the teachings, whatever Bhagavan Sri Krishna has told us, whatever Swami Chinmayananda ji has written, all the commentaries. So that's how, I prepare listening to commentaries of Puja Gurudev and other Mahatmas. So one is you first listen, whatever you have heard. Listening means even reading the books. That also comes as Shravana. Whatever I have heard from the Mahatmas, whatever I have listened, I listen with attention. and with full attention, make this knowledge my knowledge. Right now, what we are speaking is Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji's knowledge, or Swami Vivekananda ji's, or Shankaracharya ji's knowledge. But let this knowledge become my knowledge. May I understand it. So that is number one. Shravana is not only mechanically listening, but making this knowledge my knowledge and completely understanding and tuning my mind with the teacher is true Shravana. Then after Shravana comes Manana. Now I think about this. Okay, I have heard it, I have read it, and that's good. So now I close the book. After having understood it correctly, then I think about it. Is it the right thing? Is it good for me? What the teacher is telling, or what Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling in the Gita, or what Gurudev is telling, is it something that is useful for me? So that is manana. So you contemplate, you keep on churning this knowledge, that is this right? Is this good? Is this something that will benefit me? And is it something that is applicable to me? And the Bhagavad Gita is applicable to all, even more than 5,000 years after Bhagavad Gita was told, every word of it applies to every one of us. There is nothing in the Bhagavad Gita that you and I cannot apply from today itself. You don't have to wait till next week, next year, or after retirement, or after 65. It is something we can apply right now. So one is Shravana, second is Manana. And then third is Nididhyasana, where now I put that teaching into practice. So putting that teaching into practice and bringing it into my life, and then sharing this knowledge with others, that is Nididhyasana. So Nididhyasana is putting that knowledge into practice and then seeing the result. That when I work with that attitude, with the attitude of Karma Yoga, how it purifies my mind and makes my mind calm and peaceful, rather than when I just work for myself, it makes me more greedy, anxious, selfish. But when I work for others, it purifies my mind. So seeing that result, that is Nididhyasana. Also, Nididhyasana, also another meaning is that whatever I have knowledge, I have heard, when I sit for meditation, meditation is also called Nididhyasana, where I now apply this knowledge of who am I in my meditation when I contemplate upon the inner truth of Om. That is, so Nididhyasana has two meanings. One is, main thing is to apply this knowledge, see the result, and see the benefit of it. So here we will end. So we have seen that Bhagavan says that I am that actionless self. The actions do not bind me, and I do not work for selfish reasons. And one who knows also works like me. That's what Bhagavan says. So that's why all these great masters, when they have come, we see their life as an example for us to live. And wise people have lived like that, and we should also live like that. That is how we will be progressing spiritually towards moksha. And Bhagavan says, I will tell you what is karma, what is akarma, what is action and inaction. And that is something you can practice. And then next week, there is no class, but in 2 weeks, further explanation of karma will be given from 17, 18, 19, talk about karma. So that all the way up to 20, 21, everywhere, the less 5 or 6 shlokas talk about karma and akarma and vikarma. Vikarma means forbidden action, which should not be done. So we'll end here. I'll just mention about Swami Aparajitananda ji, and then we'll open it for comments. Swami Aparajitananda ji is a wonderful teacher. He has come here last year also. He comes from Chicago. Beautiful talks he gives, and he is like seeing a Mahatma. If you sit in his presence, it is like an enlightened Mahatma. He's so evolved, such a wonderful teacher, very humble. So he will be here April 21 to 24, not this Monday, but a week from tomorrow, Monday to Thursday, every evening, 7 to 8:30. If you give me your WhatsApp, your phone number, I'll send you the flyer also. It will also be on the board, on the entrance. You can take a picture with your phone. So please attend, all of you who are in town. It will be also on Zoom, but it is better you come because in his presence, it is really a very, very spiritual experience. So please don't miss that. April 21 to 24. Those who are out of town, of course, should attend on Zoom. But if you are in town, try to attend in person. And that will be 7 to 8:30. He will be talking on Kaivalya Upanishad, but this is a very practical Upanishad about how to purify the mind, how to evolve spiritually, and finally the path of meditation. So even though it's the Upanishad, it's very, very simple and practical teachings. So take advantage of that. Now we have about 10 minutes. Anybody has any comments, please feel free. I have the mic here. Hariom. Hariom. His mic is on, right? Yeah, if anybody would like to talk and the mic, Kusum, Krishna, or anybody else, please come. And also then we'll also open it to the Zoom people. If anybody would like to make a comment on Zoom, please come. The mic is here. Okay, the Zoom also is unmuted, so you can also ask question or comment.
Hariom, can you hear?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Krishna. Thank you very much, Anilji, for today's. So the interesting thing is, for me, when I come here or when I go to everyday prayer room, my thoughts are automatically becoming sattvic and without any effort. And that is something which I realized within myself. And also echoing the same thing which you mentioned is, which now it makes it even more sense to me, is a child, like I do have two, like twins. A child, you can't see the inner progress when they're attending, and you can't put a, marks to that or like grades to that. But outside you can see that progress. But
Yeah.
I think that is what I am seeing in myself. Probably that is what children are going through, and that is the action through their own later on, how they do it in the world. I think that would shine. I think that is a very nice thing.
Thank you. Yes.
And what I learned today is the four varnas or the social orders were created by the god Krishna. And even though based upon the qualities, the karma, and then the gunas, so or the actions, so the qualities of the gunas and the actions of the karma. Even though these were created by the God, but we should know him as a non-doer and immutable. So the second thing I learned about is actions do not bind, or he does not desire, Krishna does not, actions does not bind him, nor he doesn't desires any fruits. So knowing this truth, people can be not be bound to their own karma. The third thing I learned is the Soka is obviously all the enlightened souls and the rishis do this with this understanding, and we do have to have a duty, like we can have a duty to do this by looking at them or seeing how they did. Then the fourth one is the obviously the action and inaction. Even the wise people can get fooled by the action and inaction, but actually what you mentioned today is the motive is the most important, looking at the motive, and that is where we can get more understanding of this inaction, even though it's complicated, and you're going to go in detail later on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kusum, you have any comments?
Not much, but he was mentioning about the Varna, which is the classification of the caste system that we did in the 13th Those are the classification of the human beings in, for, Varna means actually, not a, it means like a description or describe something is called Varna. And Varna also is a color. So when we say that it, Lord Krishna created those four Varnas, means four classes or four colors. And they are according to the gunas and the karmas, so qualities. So the gunas, we know there are three gunas, the sattvic, rajas, and tamas. So sattvic has a color white, rajas has red, and the tamas has black colors. And so these are color wise. It's then it is divided into four, which is Brahmana. Brahmana has like this is approximately figures. 60% of white means sattvic, and they have 30% of rajasic and 10% of tamas. And Kshatriyas have 60% of rajas because they have to be active. But they are good because they have attitude and motive is good because they're fighting for the world or doing better than for the world. And they have 60% approximately rajas, 30% sattvic, and 10% tamas. Vaishyas have 60% rajasic. They're also very active doing business and all that. And they have not rajas, they have 60% rajasic, and they have 30% of tamas. And they're only 10% sattvic. And the Shudras have 60% rajasic, tamasic, sorry, they're 60% tamasic, they're not very active or anything. They have 30% of rajasic and 10% of sattvic. So this is the classes that we don't have to, because it was very misused by a lot of people and they give a lot of sufferings to other people. So we have to like see where we are, whether we are Brahmani, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. It's for us to really not to judge other person and then treat everybody the same.
Right.
So I thought that was very
Thank
good
you.
and explained by Guruji.
Very nice.
And also the one you said, the practice before you preach. There's a little story also he says about it. He said that one lady with a child went to a Mahatma, not self-realized, but a Mahatma, and said, please can you tell my son he's eating a lot of sweets and he's not listening to me. So Mahatma said, come after 1 month. So the lady was a little annoyed, said, why after 1 month? So then after 1 month, anyway, she brought him there. And then he said, stop. And he gave all advice to the little boy and said, don't do this or that. So the mother said, why didn't you tell me a month ago when I came? And now you're telling the same thing to me. He said, month ago, I was eating sweets. So I stopped eating sweets. And now I can do. So we have to always say, whenever we preach, we have to practice first. Then only it will make impact. Otherwise, it will be just like words in the air. So that
Thank
is
you.
very good.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Anybody, Aapko, if you have any question, please.
My
Any-
questions are, the question we talked about today, actions and motive.
Right,
And you gave a very good example of a thief letting somebody open,
right.
stealing.
You can speak on the mic. If
I
you,
will be loud enough.
Okay.
Yes. Now, the thief who murdered somebody and took his valuables, and where the surgeon, there were two different actions. The surgeon action was to save the life. If the thief who stole the thing from the person was feeding his kids who were dying of hunger, that was his motive. How do you perceive that?
I think a wrong action is a wrong action.
Like, who decides the action is wrong?
No, obviously, when he's harming somebody and doing something illegal and trying to kill somebody, he can go out and work. He can work in the field, he can work in the factory, he can lift loads, there are so many jobs done, but stealing and trying to kill somebody to feed the family is not right.
Okay.
So
Now-
it is the motive is okay to feed his children, but ultimately the spiritual text and the laws of the land, he is violating both. He's not only violating spiritual, but the law. That's why he will be arrested and tried for murder.
So, like, if we think, who is doing this? Like, oh, the God presence is all this happening. He's directing him to do that. Do you agree with that? That the Lord is making this to do it?
Yeah, see, the Lord Om is providing the energy. But whether you do good or bad action is not determined by God. It's like the petrol in the car is providing the energy. Now, if you take the car to a temple, that is a holy action. But if you take it to a bar and get drunk, and then you kill somebody, and when the judge calls you, you say, oh Lord, it was not me, it was the petrol. If there was no petrol, I wouldn't have driven. Petrol doesn't say go to the temple or to the bar. So same way, Bhagwan gives us the energy, but he does not tell what to do or what not to do. The scriptures tell us, Bhagwan has given us the scriptures. Ultimately, the human has the choice to do good or bad, and that's where the action is pure or impure. Thank you. Very good question. Carrie, you have a comment? You can.
Well, I think we're getting at the end here, but maybe real quick. You know, the idea that that God is not working, you know, so he's not doing anything. But yet there's the other idea that God is working through us.
Right.
So maybe you could just throw a little light on that confusion.
No, your
that I
God is
have.
working through us. God does not do anything. God is the energy. He is the akarta, abhokta. But he gives us the ability to work. Of course, the whole world he has created. That is, that is another story. But then you have to distinguish between Brahman and Ishvara. Ishvara is Brahman, the total consciousness functioning through Maya creates the world. That he is the doer. But as Brahman, as Om, as consciousness, as life principle, God just provides the energy and then it is up to us how we use it. It's like atomic energy. You can use it to cure cancer or you can use it to kill 100,000 people. So atomic energy doesn't say, hey, use me only for this. It's just the same way. So the same idea that he is the non-doer and in his presence, everything happens.
Well, he gives us the results
Yes.
of the actions that we choose to make, you know, through Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. We make our decisions
Right.
to follow Dharma.
Yeah. So actions come as a result of our, results come as a result of our actions. So I think we'll have to end 24. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om.